Recording in progress. So we are here today, myself and Kristen and Terry. It was kind of my bright idea. I was like, I really feel like we should get together for the full moon because it sounds a little weird and silly, like Yaya sisterhood and dancing around a full moon outside a tree and howling at the moon. As we all joked prior to this meeting. Are we going to go out and howl at the moon? No, I promise. I don't want our spouses to think we're nuts. We want to start small and we'll work there eventually one day. So, but I felt like this was the perfect opportunity because the full moon and the eclipse at the same time. We had a new moon and an eclipse just a couple of weeks ago, and that kind of launched some things. And so now is the perfect time to kind of culminate some of that so that we can launch some new things for the next lunar cycle. So I just want to I did a little research and I just want to hit a couple of things to make sure everyone thinks about, and also why it was so perfect that we came together. Oh, okay, hold on. And admit that one. Okay, so a full moon and an eclipse. So one of the things you might be noticing right now, and you might see it in other people more so than yourself, especially if you have kids, is that there's a lot of emotions right now. Those emotions are not necessarily negative. They're not bad emotions. They're just strong, potent emotions, and they're intense right now. And so just really pay attention to those. You also might have some triggers, and you might have a lot more right now than you normally would. So again, pay close attention to those triggers, okay? Because those are also very, very important. Those triggers are pointing you to something. So a lot of times when I have a trigger, it's about something emotional, and I might continually have different ones and they keep pointing to something, and that's going to help us ferret out what it is we need to clear. I already said that it doesn't mean negative. Okay, here's the one that I found today that I thought was beautiful and I wanted to share. And then we're going to light a candle and I'm going to pass it to Kristen so that I don't take all the time. All right. So the beautiful thing I found today, this is from actually my astrology teacher. She said not to try to process and excuse or blame about this emotion. Okay. Just recognize it and be with it. And I was like, whoa, wait a minute. Okay. So while yes, we would love you to release, some of us may not be there yet. It may be that we just need to recognize that it exists and we sit next to it for a little bit on the bench. And that's okay. All right. That might be where we're at. So I just really felt that was beautiful. And then the last thing that she said, and this one really resonated for me. We need extra sleep right now. We need it. Our kids need it. Everybody needs extra sleep. And it's so funny because for like the last week, John and I have been going to bed at like, my mom will make fun of me. We've been going to bed at like 8:30 at night. And I'm getting up at 5:30 in the morning still, but like, that's really early for me. And I'm always tired. And so that really resonated with me that, you know what, just give myself some grace. This is just what's happening right now. Okay. All right. All right. So we want to light a candle. I'm sure someone can give some better reason of why we light a candle. For me, I'm adding some fire to the situation. I like all four elements. And I'm sure Kristen or Terry will give another reason of why the fire is so beautiful and important. But okay, so there we go. I'm gonna light another one because I just have a little tea light. If you don't have a candle, that's fine. And this candle is not going to light, so we're not going to use it. All right, Kristen, let me give you the host right, beautiful, and it's all yours. By the way, these two
My
friends
picture's not on there.
You're right, it's not. I can't see you.
Oh, you can hear me? Sorry.
It's okay. We'll mute you.
Okay, there you go.
Kristen, can you mute everyone? Do you see that button? Like click on participant.
Mute all. Yes.
Perfect.
Okay. All right. Well, hello, everyone. I am Kristen. I am going to lead us through a grounding meditation. So I'm going to invite you to get comfortable wherever you're at. And then once I'm done, Terry's going to take over and do visualization with you. So like I said, go ahead, get comfortable if you want to be laying down, if you want to be seated, however you want to be. There's no wrong way to be with this. So just want you, if you need to move, go ahead and do that now while I get the computer audio going. And you're also welcome to keep your screen on if you want to, or turn your camera off. Doesn't matter. This is all about you being comfortable and you being in the space that you want to be in. All right. So I'm going to invite you to go ahead, and we're going to just start by taking a few deep breaths together. Taking a deep breath in and out and in and out. One more deep breath in and out. And just let all of the day just kind of fall away and letting you just be exactly as you are right now. However that is, however that looks, however that feels. And I want you to just take your imagination just a few feet above your head, and I want you to start imagining seeing this liquid golden light, this loving golden light energy pouring down from the heavens a few feet above your head. Just notice it making its way down towards you. There's nothing that you need to do right now. It's already on its way. You can just tell that this is a warm, loving, golden energy here. As it makes its way down and down, it eventually meets the crown of your head. And at the crown of your head, it begins to pool there, this golden, liquid, warm, loving energy. And it begins to pour down through the crown of your head, through your third eye, down through your eyes, your ears, your nose, your lips, your mouth, down through your chin, down to your throat chakra, continuing down, slowly pouring down your shoulders, down your arms, your elbows, your wrists, the palms of your hands, and your fingers. As it continues to also make its way down your chest and into your heart space, where it pools for a moment and continues making its way down as we continue to breathe down into the solar plexus, down past your belly button, into your sacral and womb space, down through your root chakra, as it continues down your hips, down your thighs, your knees, your calves, down to your ankles, through the bottoms of your feet and your toes. And then you notice that this liquid golden energy continues to pour down from your own root chakra, rooting out itself. Maybe they look like tree roots, or maybe they just look like roots of light, going down through the chair you're in, or the bed you're on, or whatever surface you're on. This liquid golden light goes down and down through the building and space that you're in, making its way further down till it meets the surface of the earth. And these roots continue to grow deeper and wider, down and down and down through the many layers of the earth, growing thicker, deeper, and wider as they continue to grow. And eventually, they reach the center of the earth. And they root in here and really plant into the very center of the earth. I want you to take a moment here and just begin to get this sense of this gentle, graceful, pulsing energy of the earth here in those roots. And as we take a deep breath in, we're going to begin to pull that gentle pulsing energy of the earth back up these roots we've planted as we continue to breathe, bringing this energy up the roots, up and up and up. This gentle pulsing making its way up through the many layers of the earth, up and up through the surface of the earth and back up through the building that you're in, gently pulsing as we breathe, up, up, and up until it meets our root chakras. And here at the root, we're going to take a deep breath here and release. Recognizing here at the root chakra, the combining of these energies, recognizing our oneness and connection with all of nature, all of the plants, the animals, all of the elements, fire, water, earth, and air, knowing that we are connected with each of these in oneness. We'll continue bringing this gentle pulsing energy up through the sacral and womb space, up and up through the solar plexus, making its way up into the heart, where we'll pause for a moment, taking another deep breath in and release. Here at the heart space, recognizing the oneness and connection we have with all of humanity, past, present, and future. All people in all places, in all spaces, in all time, knowing that we are united and connected in love. Continue to invite this pulsing energy up from the heart space, through the throat, through the third eye, into the crown. Once again, taking a deep breath here as it pulls at the crown. And release. Recognizing here at the crown our connection of oneness with the divine, knowing that we are always held, loved, and supported and guided by the divine in our connection of oneness. And as we continue to breathe, we're going to invite this oneness energy to expand beyond this column, but to have it fill our whole bodies, every nook and cranny, from the tips of our toes to the tips of our hair, allowing this oneness energy to fill us completely and wholly. And continuing to breathe, expanding this oneness to fill this bubble around us of oneness, inviting in blue and white rays of protection to surround this bubble of oneness, knowing that this bubble of oneness is one of love, of protection, and of safety, knowing that here tonight We are sharing this space and community with one another and in love. I invite you to take one more deep breath in and out. I'm going to turn it over to Terry for the visualization.
All right, that was so beautiful, Kristen. Thank you so much. Ladies, I'm going to ask you to keep your eyes closed. Keep breathing deeply in through your nose, out through your mouth or your nose. And as we're so beautifully grounded, I want you to take a moment to tap into your root chakra first. And your root chakra is all about safety. It vibrates at the frequency of safety. Remembering that we are safe here and in this safe space, I'm going to ask you to identify some feelings today. And before we go into the feelings and the emotions, I want you to start from your root chakra and imagine a beautiful glowing light traveling from the root chakra, I am safe, up through the sacral chakra behind your belly button. This is our creativity frequency. Allowing that light to travel beyond the sacral up to your solar plexus, right where your rib cage comes together. Picturing the color yellow. This is where our strength comes from, where we are protected. Allowing that light to float up from that yellow solar plexus space up to your heart. And here's where we're going to pause. And I'd like you to place your hands, either one hand on your heart or make an orb out of your hands. So your hands are not touching, but it's almost as if you were cupping a snowball. And take your thumbs over your heart chakra and really tune into the space between your fingertips. Maybe even allow your hands to touch for a moment and feel the warmth from your dominant hand, your giving hand, and your receiving hand, your non-dominant hand. And then take your hands and let them come apart, but try to keep the energy between the two fingers, between all of your fingertips. Try to keep that energy flowing. Keeping your thumbs pressed to your heart, remembering that you are safe, remembering that the heart can heal. I want you to try to tap into your feelings, your emotions. Perhaps they're feelings of joy from something you've experienced recently. Perhaps something from your past has popped into your mind, the birth of a child. Or maybe those feelings that are coming to you right now in your heart space are a little heavier. Nothing to run away from. That's nothing to ignore. I'm going to ask you to sort of step outside of yourself for a moment and imagine that you're watching yourself in a movie. A movie that you know in the end is going to turn out so beautifully, better than you could ever imagine. And as we know that this is going to happen, this beautiful outcome, we also know that it is safe and that we are loved and that it's okay to observe these feelings, these emotions, things that maybe popping up, especially during this lunar cycle. And now if you can imagine just one word, one thought, one emotion, and if you could give it a name, that would be great. want you to think about what that might be. Perhaps it doesn't have a name. Maybe it just has a shape. If it had a shape, what would that shape be? Deep breath, inhale, nice slow exhale. If this emotion had a color, what color would it be? If it had texture, what texture would it be? If it were related to a person, who would it be related to? If there were a location in your body where it was being stored, what's the first space that comes to mind for you? I want you to take a moment and just really think about that. Color, shape, size, texture. Where is it located? Remember, we get to keep all of our parts, good, bad, and everything in between. We're just here as the observer, knowing that everything's going to turn out, in the end, magnificently. Deep breath, inhale. Nice, slow exhale. And slowly go ahead and come back to the room, wiggling your fingers, maybe stretching out. I'm going to let Crystal go ahead and take the wheel.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Miss Terry. Thank you, Miss Kristen. Okay, so what I would love for you to do now is just take a moment while I kind of switch cameras. Make a note. Hopefully you have paper because you were supposed to bring some from the art project. So do your journaling real quick on that little piece of paper that you have for your art project. Take that emotion that you came up with and kind of tear it apart. Now, I will tell you, maybe you struggled with finding a word for an emotion. So let me share something with you. I'd rather give you the link and then you can open it on your own device, but let me just share it on the screen too real quick. So share screen. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so this is kind of a slimmed down version of something that I've been playing with every single day, okay? This is an emotions wheel, and what's beautiful about it is on one side, it shows you all the feelings when your needs are met and the ones when they're not. So maybe you had one that you couldn't figure out the word for, but as Terry explained, it had a shape and it had a color. And I put it in the chat. So let me make sure I sent it in the chat. Okay. I also have one, if you're very interested in this idea, I have one that goes one more level out. So for example, where it says happy, it'll take happy and split happy into two more emotions. So it can go further if you wanted more. That's the one I'm playing with. But anyway, so for me, I chose anxious because that's like my least favorite emotion. I don't want to dwell here because I don't want you all to like focus on it, but I did throw it in the chat so that you had it while you were journaling if you needed some words, okay? I'm going to switch cameras, so give me a second while you journal. All right, I'll give you a couple more minutes just to jot things down. I guess I probably should write mine down, right? Okay. If you're writing, you can continue to write. For those of you who might be ready because you're like, Crystal, I want to process this more on my own later. I totally understand. So you can hopefully see here on the screen, I have my card with my very generic emotions written on it. Since we're recording, I'm not going to read them all out loud at the moment. I have markers, whether you have markers, crayons, whatever you have, colored pencils, whatever works. What we want to do is we want to sit with this emotion. And so for me, my emotion isn't that pretty of an emotion. So how can I'm going to sit with it and recognize it, but I'm also going to pretty it up because you know what? I want to kind of like show how even the broken house, eventually the greenery is going to come up and grow over it and make it something beautiful. And so that's kind of what I want to help us do here. So we're going to do three simple things. Okay, I'm going to bring you a blank one here so you see what we're going to do. Very easy. Okay, we're going to make dots. We're going to make dashes. Maybe I'll use this fat one for that. Dashes. Okay, dots, dashes, and hearts. If you want to fill in your hearts, you can fill in your hearts, totally up to you. Okay, dots, dashes, and hearts. If you want to make this more abstract and you just are scribbling and adding these colors on there, you can. But I want to show you something that with very easily, hopefully you're already seeing it with dots, dashes, and hearts that you can do to pretty up this broken wall. Ready? Okay, so I'm going to use some yellow for my dots, and I'm just going to go through on top of what I wrote. I'm going to add some dots. I'm going to come in. I think I want some of this pink too. And again, you're using whatever color you want. I'm not a control freak. You cover them the way you want. All right, so I got some dots. Now I'm ready for some dashes. So dashes, ready, go. So I'm just coming in from my dot. This is how I want to do it, but you can put your dashes anywhere you want. I don't care. If you want to be abstract, go for it. My Virgo won't let me today. All right, let me add some of this other color. If you get tired of adding dashes and you're like, wait, I don't want to run out of space for heart, go for it, add heart. And you can make them any color you want. I just chose green because my hearts are going to be my leaves. Yes, you guessed it. See how easy this is? And again, notice how it's covering up the words, okay? Are they gone? Have they disappeared? No. In fact, here, let me zoom it in. So see, I can still see the words. I know they're there. I'm still sitting with it. But I'm just, for me, this is giving myself grace, okay? I'm giving myself grace by making it a little bit pretty. Because by gosh, emotions are hard. I have friends who joke and go, math is hard. I'm like, math is not hard. Emotions are hard. You can make this prettier than I am. I'm kind of rushing at the moment. Now, this is a modified activity, okay? So from the art class that I'm in, if you wanted to take this a step further, let's say you're someone who has art materials at home. I know several of you who do. You can do the same thing, write the words on paper, and instead of using marker, use paint. And she recommends, don't do it like organized like this with flowers and such. Do dots and dashes and squiggles, like really go crazy. Honestly, if it would help you process this emotion better by taking a new color in and introducing it and adding just some scribbles in here too, like seriously, this is your art project, okay? Whatever helps you process that emotion. What she does is she does the scribbles and then she adds dots of paint and then she comes with like paint marker and it's really cathartic, okay? It's just kind of like coloring over it and making something that was potentially ugly pretty, okay? So you can keep going as long as you want. All right. So have fun, keep going. I'm going to stop recording at this point so that people who want to talk and have things to say can say them, ask questions, all the things. So hang on, let me stop recording before you all start chatting.